This is week 2 of Hiawatha and the Peacemaker. So last week we did pages 1 to 10. This week we're going to do pages 11 to 18. As we're reading this, be careful to listen to what's happening because I'm going to be asking a lot about what the message is behind what the Peacemaker is saying and behind what our main character is talking about or feeling. I encourage you, especially this week, I encourage you to kind of try and find answers, but then also go discuss it with family or friends over video chat or wherever else. But I'd highly recommend that you discuss it with somebody because a lot of these questions are things we would have discussed at length in class, and unfortunately we can't do that right now. So please feel free to go discuss this with anyone else in your house or through video chat with somebody else. So week 2, Hiawatha and the Peacemaker. We left off. I agreed to travel with him and help carry his message, and so I, Hiawatha, came to tell the story of the great Peacemaker. I stared at his stone canoe, bewildered by its ability to float, but we paddled off, and with every impossible moment that the canoe glided across the water, I became more of a believer. When we arrived at the land of my people, the Mohawk, we were greeted warmly. The chief and the elders were summoned, and we gathered in a circle. A few clan mothers looked on with curiosity and concern. This peacemaker closed his eyes and placed his hand on my back. Somehow he had the power to move his message through me. I began to speak his words. Peace, power, and righteousness shall be the new way, I said. We must join together. All nations will become one family. Our people shall have one body, one mind, and one heart. This is the message of the great law. The clan mothers nodded in agreement, and a sense of relief spread over me. But then the war chief spoke. We respect your message, but we cannot join you, he said. How can we know if your words are true? Tadodaho is too strong, too violent. Our people must be prepared to fight. The peacemaker quietly stuttered. The great law is more powerful than any one man. We will return with proof that our nations can join together. As the peacemaker and I traveled toward the land of the Cayuga, he spoke to me of healing through forgiveness. My mind, still filled with hatred, and my heart, still filled with the pain of my loss, could not comprehend this. When we arrived, we learned that the Cayuga tribe had been devastated in an attack by Tadodaho and his warriors. My mind was flooded with image of the battle that had taken my family. Rage filled my body. I turned to the peacemaker and yelled, "We will never be free." In an attempt to soothe me, the peacemaker asked me to sit with him in the Cayuga Council. He looked deep into my eyes as he spoke to the people. I do not see defeat, he said. What I see is a passage to a new way of life. Join me, and together we can spread peace rather than war, love rather than hate, unity rather than fear. The peacemaker placed his fist over his heart. A feeling of strength and trust ran down my spine. With new hope, we headed toward the great hill to see the Seneca people. The Cayuga chief followed us in his canoe. Together, we paddled as one nation. We were met by 15 armed braves. For the first time, the peacemaker showed signs of worry. We were surrounded by warriors and led to the center of the Seneca village. The Seneca chief approached the circle, and the guards closed in on us. With a wave of his hand, the warriors lifted their spears. But then he nodded, and the guards drove their spears deep into the dirt. The Seneca chief sat down and told us that the wind had carried our message from the land of the Cayuga. The Seneca people wanted to learn about the peacemaker and the great law. We will all perish if we continue this violence. A change must come, and the time is now. Alone we will be broken, I said, but together we are more powerful than the greatest warrior. The Seneca chief trailed us in his canoe, and together we rode as two nations. This is this week's questions. Remember, please discuss this with somebody, either in your household or through chat while you're playing a video game. Just please discuss them because really you're going to get the best answers through discussion. So, number one is, what does bewildered mean? Why was he bewildered? To find the definition of bewildered, you can use a dictionary, you can look it up online, or you can just ask somebody in your house else in your house who knows. Number two, what is the message of the great law? So it mentioned the great law a couple of times. I want to know what the message of the great law is. What is the great law? What is it trying to tell them? Number three, what do you think he meant by "we will never be free"? When he yelled that "we will never be free," what did he mean? What are they not free from? Number four, unity rather than fear. What does that mean when he said unity rather than fear? What does he mean by that? And number five, what do you think he means when he says, "we will perish if we continue this violence"? What does he mean by that sentence? As you can see, again, these are all discussion questions, so please discuss them with someone.